Okay, episode 6. The Honeymoon. After a long ride, we reached the Great Coast. The summer cabin the king had set up for us was along the ocean. Link pulled back the reins and Epona came to a full stop. He helped me down, dismounted himself and took Epona to the stable. As he returned, he picked me up into his arms and carried me over the threshold and inside. Once inside, my eyes grew as big as saucers. The entire place was furnished. Candles were lit everywhere and the table with a meal already prepared on, and it was set for 2. The candles were lit in the centre. I really wondered who could have made the food. Then I remembered that one of the sages left the reception early. The Sage of Water, Ruto. Alright, I've got to stop here just for a moment. Where the hell is this Great Coast? Since this fanfiction is set in the Ocarina of Time map, we have to use that map. There is no ocean in Ocarina of Time. The biggest body of water in that game was Lake Hylia, set in the south. It isn't a beach. And there's a couple of buildings there. One belongs to like an old wizard who's doing experiments on the water. And the other building is like the little fishing pond with that guy whose only customer is Link. Is it possible that we could have set up the cabin here? Possibly. But again, there is no beaches in Ocarina of Time. In fact, at the time when this fanfic was written, there was only one other game to my knowledge that had got any kind of beaches at all. And that was set hundreds of years afterwards during the Big Flood. It was Wind Waker, okay? Yes, there was beaches in Wind Waker, but if you're writing a fic in Ocarina of Time, you use the geography from Ocarina of Time. You don't just invent places. There was no Great Coast. If there was, we'd have known about it. And the only other place where there's a significant amount of water is Zora's Domain itself. And none of that's beach either. I think we've just got to say that this girl fails at geography altogether. You know, the map's not hard to understand, as I've said before. Oh, let's carry on. I looked around and saw a small letter on the table by the door. I opened it and it was from Ruto. The letter said, Link was supposed to marry me, but I was blind to his happiness. As I watched him with you, I saw how happy he'd become. I now realised that what I'd done was wrong. I could not hold Link to something he would not be happy with. I hope your life together brings you both the happiness and peace you both desire. When you two have your firstborn, please come to see me. Signed, Ruto the Water Sage. Oh, God, all right. If you remember in Ocarina of Time, Link had to collect the 3 spiritual stones in order to actually enter the place where the Master Sword is resting, so that he could actually become the hero of time. And if you remember, he rescued Princess Ruto from inside the belly of Lord Jabu Jabu. And in return, she gave him the Zora Sapphire, which is actually the final spiritual stone. And she described it as the Zora's engagement ring. In other words, she decided to get engaged to Link long before Link would have met Mary Sue. So how on earth would that have been wrong? It wouldn't have been wrong. That just makes absolutely no sense. But now we've got the Water Sage all fawning all over Link and Jenna, so... Did she even play the same game as Uska, folks, really? Let's carry on. I closed the letter and held it close. A tear trickled down my cheek as I thought of what Ruto had done for us. Link came up behind me and threw his arms around me. "What's wrong, my love? Are you feeling okay?" Link's skin seemed to glow under the candlelight, and his eyes filled with love. I wiped my face and put down the letter. I'm fine. I'll be okay," I said softly and placed my hand against his cheek and looked into his eyes. "I'm glad to be here with you," I said softly. "As am I," said Link, smiled and widened, and took my hand and led me to the table. I sat down and Link pushed my chair before seating himself. As we ate, we talked about future plans and having a family, but I could tell his mind was not on the food. I took my foot and slowly brushed it up against his leg. As I rubbed his leg with my foot, he squirmed in his chair. Finally, he got up and came around behind me. Okay, I'll stop right here. So, she's already flirting with him and they've just sat down to dinner. His mind's not on the food. I think what happens next is fairly predictable. Let's continue. He lowered his head down by my neck and I could feel his hot breath against my cheek. I felt his lips move to my neck as he started to passionately kiss me there. As he nibbled on my neck, I let out soft moans. After a few minuets again, Link took me by the hand, lifted me out of the chair and led me to a room where a tub was filled with hot water. He pressed his lips on mine and we kissed deeply as he began to remove my dress and exposing my naked body. Alright, let's just stop here a second. There's a tub already filled with hot water. Why? When was this bath run? There's no mention of that. Or did Ruto fill the hot bath shortly before they got there? That part's never explained, but that's bad. Okay. Let's carry on. As his hand started to caress my body, caress my breasts, I could feel myself getting hotter. I wanted him, wanted to feel him. I wanted to touch him in ways he had never been touched. Then I heard his heart beating faster, felt his hands moving up and down my slender body. Okay, she heard his heart beating. He must have some pretty sensitive ears then, because I can't say that I can hear somebody else's heartbeat. Alright, let's carry on. As he nibbled on my nipples, I little by little slowly started to remove his clothes, exposing his heavenly naked body. There we go, the trademark heavenly naked body again. I slowly reached up and placed my hands over his bare chest. Bare as in the animal. Yeah, I've got to remember that one. As I ran my fingers down my fingertips down his chest, soft moans passed his lips. His body was so muscular, so firm, his skin silky to the touch. I ran my hand slowly down his body, first to his waist, then to his thighs, around his butt, and then to the swollen organ between his legs. When I grazed my hand over the head, Link let out small cries of pleasure. Then I looked into his eyes. "Tonight, my love, I'm going to show you how much I love you." I went down and slowly took the head of his member into my mouth, teasing it with my tongue. As I teased the head, soft moans passed down Link's lips. Then I slowly moved to his shaft, caressing it with my tongue as I licked up and down it. As I caressed his member with my lips and tongue, Link's soft moans soon turned into cries of pleasure. I felt his body quivering under my gentle hands as his cries of ecstasy filled the room. Link let out a loud animal-like cry as I took his member fully into my mouth. Sorry, I've got to stop it. Animal-like cries. It wouldn't by any chance be cat-like, would it? Like your previous porn scenes. Okay, let's carry on. Slowly I moved up and down the shaft, dragging my tongue as I went. Little by little I upped the movement, causing Link to cry out in ecstasy as I caused waves of pure pleasure to go surging through his body. Then I found a rhythm and his breathing became faster as I started to take him over the edge. His heart started racing. His cries filled the room, and finally, when I took his nutsack and caressed it with my hand, it was his undoing. Link let out a loud animal-like cry as he reached his peak, releasing his essence into my mouth. Okay, another animal-like cry. Why does she always have to have animal-like cries in the sex scenes? I mean, really? Oh, that's just not sexy at all. Okay, let's carry on. I swallowed, licking up all of our sweet juices off his member. Sweet? I don't think it tastes sweet. Salty, but not sweet. Seriously, she's never had sex, if that's the case. As I licked my lips, he brought his face close to mine. Our lips met, kissing each other passionately. The taste of him was still on my lips. As he deepened the kiss, I let out soft moans into his mouth. We broke off the kiss. I looked into his eyes. I'm ready for you now, my love, I said as I started to kiss his neck. Slowly, I felt the heat between us grow stronger. I felt myself wanting him. Felt my body calling out to him inside me. Then his eyes shone desire in them. The passion burned in them. Then he led me by the hand, then pulled me into the tub as the desire between us raged. Hold on, just a sec. He pulled it into the tub. Does that mean that this blowjob happened while they were in the tub? Because there was no mention of them being underwater. When did he get in the tub? When did he get in the bloody tub? Oh, God almighty. That's not logical at all. I wanted him even more now. I wanted to feel him inside me. He moved closer to me and I felt his throbbing member at my entrance. Hold on, he's hard again already? Does she know nothing about how real guys actually respond? Once a guy's had an orgasm, it takes him a little bit of time to recover before he's hard again. It's not instant erection. Has she ever thought about that? Apparently not yet. More evidence that at the time of writing she probably had not had sex yet. Otherwise, she would have known that. When I begun to cry out in ecstasy as he slowly penetrated my enchanted body, never mind. Slowly at first, then I cried out in pure bliss as Link upped his movements. As we made hot love, I felt his heart beating in unison with mine. Felt the heat of his body against my body. Okay, so the heartbeats are now synchronised or something? Do you think your heartbeats synchronise when you have sex with somebody? No, I didn't either. Anyway, Link felt so good inside me, so warm, so tender. Then he pushed me up against the side of the tub as he put his hands underneath my body, lifting me up, allowing him to penetrate deeper. I wrapped my legs around his waist and groaned as I grabbed his back and dug my nails in, feeling the sweat beginning to form. Hold on. How can she feel the sweat beginning to form? They're in a fucking hot tub. Did she not think at all when she was writing this? Or was she, typing this one-handed and her other hand was elsewhere? Oh well, let's carry on. As I dragged my hands down his back, I cried in ecstasy as he began to thrust deeper inside my now hot, sweaty form. Our bodies quivered as our movements began to flow in unison. As I felt his heart beginning to beat faster as I forced my body up against his, loud animal-like sounds, that's the animal sounds again, past his lips as his thrusts came in faster. Then I bucked against Link as I cried for him to take me. Oh, Link, oh my goddess, he's Link, I cried as I wrapped my hands down his back, down over his buttock, digging my nails in as they went. I felt him starting to breathe faster as he started to climax, and the sheer ecstasy raced through our bodies. I didn't want it to end. Oh God, what can I say about this? She wanted him to take her. Hadn't he done already the moment as he actually put his penis inside? You dipshit. And what's with the nails anyway? Most people don't like to be scratched to death during sex. That's not sexy. Alright, let's carry on. I wanted every part of him. I wanted to drink his body. Really? Drink in his body? Or is she like cannibal now? Okay, carry on. He felt so good, so hot. He was mine. Mine forever. I had him. Had his body. His heavenly body. Sexual thoughts raced through my mind as we both came to a full climax. Link, I cried out in pure ecstasy as I gushed down his muscular legs. Hold on. She's having sexual thoughts while having sex. No shit. And she gushed down his legs. First off, I thought they were in the hot tub. And secondly, we just don't produce that much fluid. There is no woman on earth that literally gushes. Oh, I don't understand this whole gushing thing. I mean, does she think we've got a water pistol hid somewhere down there? I mean, no. Jenna, Link screamed as he reached his peak and released his very essence inside me. I let out a loud moan and I felt the warm liquid slide down inside my beautiful body. It felt so good. Now I had a part of him inside me, a part of his very essence. Yes, dear, it's his sperm. Right then. We both collapsed from exhaustion after Link delivered his second and final release. Breathing heavily, I looked deeply into his sexy blue eyes. Eyes with passion in them. Then I leaned over and pressed my lips on his, tasting the sweetness of them. So firm, so sweet. Feeling a slight longing, I moved to my lips to his ear and whispered words of passion to him. Oh my goddesses, Link, I love you so much, I said between gasps of breath before I started to caress his long, sexy, pointed ear with my lips and tongue. And I love you too, my sweet love, Link said as he embraced me. As I nibbled on the lobe of his ear, I could hear his soft moaning, felt his hands start moving down my body, felt the heat of his body, felt his skin against mine. So hot, so heavenly. His body. Finally, for once I felt complete. Felt like a woman. I felt sexy. Wanted. Well, no shit, you've just had sex. We laid there still connected and covered in sweat. I laid my head against his chest and listened to the beating of his heart. Hold on, I thought she could hear his heartbeat anyway. So much so she could tell they had synchronised heartbeats during the sex scene. We were both exhausted and breathing heavy. Then as my breathing started to slow, I felt my eyes beginning to drift. And as I felt my last ounce of strength leave my body, I fell asleep. The next morning I awoke in bed, lying on Link's chest while he stroked my hair. We talked a while before rising and getting dressed. After he got dressed, we went downstairs to cook breakfast. I went to freshen up. I washed my face and hands, and then I went to the wardrobe to select a dress. I picked out a low-cut, long silk blue dress with a gold Hylian symbol on the lower part of the dress. I put on my wedding ring and the bracelet Zelda gave me, and fixed my hair. Then I went downstairs. Link greeted me at the bottom. His eyes widened as he looked over me. He took me into his arms and kissed me. You look beautiful, my love. His eyes seemed to flicker with passion as he held me in his arms. He knew how to make me feel good. His words soft and gentle. He was the perfect man. Oh, so, okay, at this point we've got more descriptions of clothing. We really don't really care what Jenna's wearing. And she put on a wedding ring. Might I ask why she took it off overnight? Most people wouldn't. Okay. Right then, I walked over to the dining table. Not the dining table, the dining table, folks, and glanced over all the food Link had prepared. I hope you're hungry, my sweet. Hold on. How had Link prepared the food since he was... She couldn't have taken that long just putting on a dress and some jewellery. It takes you like 2 minutes to get dressed. Bloody hell, he must be a fast cook, he said, and I nodded yes. Link pulled out my chair. I sat down and pushed my chair in before sitting himself. While we ate to talk about the plans for the day. Since it was a beautiful day and a nice area, we thought about going horseback riding would be the thing to do. But then I remembered one thing. There was only one horse, Epona. A look of disappointment crossed my face. I really wanted to go horseback riding, then Link had an idea. Epona is strong enough to hold both of us. She carried us both here. You can just sit behind me and put your arms around my waist. Link said it. As smile widened, I felt better. As smile widened, I felt better? That's not very good English. So now Epona's got to carry them both. Again. As I said before, there should have been 2 horses. Or a horse and carriage. You wouldn't have 2 people on the back of a horse. You just wouldn't. Oh dear me, she really didn't think that one through. After breakfast, Link went to saddle Epona while I did the dishes. When I finished, Link poked his head round the door and said he was ready. I removed my apron, put on my riding boots and followed Link out of the door. Epona was in front, saddled and ready to go. The rusty brown mare was a truly beautiful horse. I walked up to her and patted her on the head. She gently pressed her muzzle near my face to show no fear. I looked at her. She was the most beautiful horse I'd ever seen. Oh, I stopped there. She put her muzzle near my face. Yeah, a mussel. As in the seafood. She's made that mistake once before. It was amusing then and it's amusing now. Oh dear, can you just imagine? Riding boots with a dress. Oh, dear me, horse riders don't tend to wear dresses. It wouldn't be feasible to ride a horse while wearing a dress, really. You'd be wearing like leggings or trousers or jeans. Not a dress. Okay. Oh dear, I think I'd probably better stop for this episode. I'll have to do part 2 of this another time, otherwise this video is going to end up far too long. Okay.